Hello?
Hello, Jughead. This is Archie. Come over right away. It's a matter of life or death.
Oh, relax, Archie.
Attention, all true believers. Marvel Comics is on the air.
A friend of the unfortunate, enemy of criminals. In reality, Dan Garrett, a rookie patrolman, loved by everyone but suspected by none of being the Blue Beetle.
Boys and girls, your attention, please. Presenting a new exciting radio program featuring the thrilling adventures of an amazing and incredible personality.
Faster than an airplane, more powerful than a locomotive, impervious to bullets.
Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman!
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back to this wonderful Thursday evening. Thank you for joining us here on SketchUp. We've got a tremendous show, a great lineup we have tonight with Rob Multari returning with his Lone Wolf comics. We also have Bill Mouse, a fan favorite of ours, is here tonight, along with Kyle Roberts, who has done some work for Rob. And we'll see what those guys are up to right after this short break. Hey, everybody. Thanks again for joining us. Glad to see that Mog is there. She was running a little late, but she made it. All right, so don't forget to hit that follow button. Make sure that we can continue to give you these wonderful shows that we bring you every week. And we've got some special things going on tomorrow night. Jeff Johns is joining Order Up to talk about Ghost Machine. So be sure to check that out. That's going to be on Order Up, the final cutoff. And that's on tomorrow at 1 Eastern and 10 Pacific. And after that, in the evening, be sure to catch Nick Barucci's The Original Art Show. He will have certain pieces that will be going to the GoFundMe account for legendary writer Peter David, who's been fighting for his health. And with Medicaid dropping him off, it's become a financial disparity for him. He's been an incredible, remarkable writer. Some of you may know his writings with Hulk, The Avengers. He's written many Star Trek novels, Babylon 5, and so forth. One of the things that I liked best from him was he wrote an article in Comic Buyer's Guide called "But I Digress." It was like one of the best things I could read, and I died for every week to get. But anyway, check Nick Barucci's show out tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific and 7 p.m. Eastern. Right? If not, we'll be posting up the GoFundMe account for Peter in the comments. So if you can spare some change or whatever you can give to help this guy out, and remarkable person, I appreciate that. If you want to get in on the giveaways tonight, put in #EXP. I believe I said Nightwolf, right? That will get you into the running. Right, and we're going to be talking about Nightwolf and looking at where it stands. It's got about a week left. It just got fully funded today, hitting that 10.
Yeah, just a couple hours ago.
Yeah, so it's got a boost in there, and we hope that you guys can give it additional boost so we can get that thing really rolling. Because 10K sounds like a lot of money for the project, but I'm going to tell you that it's not. Okay, so we can definitely use your help there. And the fact that it's already on 10 issues, this is issue 10 that Rob is working on, kind of shows you the strength of where that series is at. Okay,
yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, and so let's check in with Rob a little bit right here. How's it going, buddy?
I can't complain. Just keeping on rolling with the Wolfpack and trying to put out each issue. And my last one before this was for the Snowpaw plushie, so just trying to put out more and more stuff, as fast as I can.
Yeah, you've got your hands full because I see that you're also like consulting as well.
Yeah.
And you definitely got the experience for that. And I look at your Kickstarters, and they're very well put together.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and you did have some growth in there, but man, you're coming on strong. I like the way where that's going as well, right? And you've got, I believe it's like, was it 7 days left on night?
Yeah. So it ends next Friday at noon. So yeah, a little over a week to go, and this is a shorter campaign than I usually run. Typically I do like 22 to 23 days. I actually cut it by a week because I didn't want it to end while I was on my way to a Comic-Con. So I wanted to kind of be present for it. Otherwise I'd be like in the car traveling to DC for AwesomeCon.
So how many days did you put it up there for?
I think it was 15, 16.
Wow, that is short.
Yeah. Right. So those people who think that just because this has only been live for about a week, doesn't mean, they can sit on it. This is kind of one of those things where we're just cutting out that dead zone in the middle, and we're just going to keep on rolling. And we got plenty of stretch goals planned. So, we got the lenticular covers, we got metal covers that we usually do. We also have acrylic standees that we want to add in, and some other great things unlocked. I kind of want one of my milestones that I want to do is like a coaster. I haven't done those before, so I thought that would be a fun one.
Okay.
Cool. So
cool.
Yeah, trying to keep it unlocking everything, because we're always giving away stickers and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, your Kickstarters are always like fully loaded with all kinds of little things to get, and also big things. There's some big rewards that you can get in there, man. So if you got the pockets for that and they're deep enough, you can get some of those larger rewards.
And that's just because they may be higher price ticket items, they're actually really significantly discounted. For example, our highest one's $849, but that's like an over $2,000 value of all of the issues, variants, and swag.
Yeah, that's a hefty box to get in.
Yeah. It's exactly. Basically you can feel the weight on that.
Okay, let me check in with the other guys here. We have Bill.
How's
Bill
it going?
Mouse is in the house. We had Cat Mouse last week, and now we got Bill here.
One mouse at a time.
I know. Look at the purple ambience in the background there.
Oh, that's literally one light bulb. It's okay. My budget was one light bulb, and I turned the lights down, and I made it look like.
Yeah, ooh.
I'm all about low budget productions, so it's
I know, it's a cool special effect you got there. Yeah. So how's it going with you, buddy?
It's going good. We're in the middle of fulfilling Zen Bounty Wars. I'm doing a Zen Intergalactic Ninja 4-issue miniseries for First Comics, and so we're actually fulfilling issue 1 right now, which is this guy right here. Let me get
the Bounty Wars.
When I get a studio copy, so I could test a bunch of pens on the cover,
nice,
signing it and stuff. And then we just started working on Nira X Dark Seas #3 for Committed Comics, which is this series right here.
There you go. Yep.
So I just started working on that, so that way I think the Kickstarter for that, I think we've got maybe 3 weeks, something like that, before that might kick off. So we're in the middle. I want to get enough done before we actually launch, so that way
right.
Preview material.
And then on our side we have 2 sketch covers that we need to do from that Kickstarter. So we're hoping to finish that soon and send that out.
That's
to
awesome.
People that got that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then I think I saw that you had a con that was coming up as well.
There's I don't have my IT director. I don't have Kat up here managing the calendar for me. She's my daughter / agent at this point. So I know there's some dates coming up, but I don't have them off the top of my head. Maybe a little bit later in the show. I'll grab my calendar.
Okay, all right, no worries.
Yeah.
All right, and what are you going to be drawing tonight for the auction block here?
Tonight I'm kind of leaning into a Savage Land Rogue rendered pencil piece. I think like an 11x17 piece is what I'm kind of like leaning into. So that's what I think I'll be working on tonight.
And what did you want to start the bid at on that for?
You know what? Let's start it at just 40. I mean, in the spirit of auctions, right? Keep it,
Okay.
start it nice and low. And if we can just add 10 for domestic shipping. And if anybody happens to be watching overseas, unfortunately, I have to add like 40 or 50. You have to. More. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous how much the overseas shipping has gotten.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of digital fans overseas now, thanks to shipping. But yeah, if we can add 10 for domestic shipping, that'd be awesome.
Okay, we'll get you down for that. And then let's check in with Mog.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sorry for being late. You know what happened? I was actually at a wrong show. I think it was like, and there was this like random guy talking, and I was at backstage, and I realized this is not it. And then I got out. And
we didn't even know you were late. You could have said I was right on time. It'd be perfect.
And suddenly StreamYard was like, "Hey, you need to log in through your Facebook." And how often do we log in through Facebook password, right? And I'm like, "What the heck is my password?" And it kept saying denied. And I was thinking, what the heck? It's like somebody suddenly talking to you. It's like, hey, what's your wife's phone number? And you're thinking, oh my God, you can't.
This isn't the show you're looking for,
right? It's like, oh God, what's her phone number? Like kind of like that. It was like that kind of moment. I'm glad I'm here. So anyway, Rob, congratulations so much.
Thank you. Well, you and I will be doing it again very quickly, I'm sure, within the next couple months.
Yeah, but seriously, for 15 days, like reaching that goal, that's superb. That really is.
Yeah.
I almost wish you did extend it,
I actually thought about even going further, but then I was like,
No? Okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to go over like while I was there at the con because like I said, I like to be accessible.
Yeah. Oh well. But anyway, I'm gonna work on in my part a sketch cover of Snowpaw. At the back, I'm thinking of maybe doing it's just a classic wolf, but so much wolves have been done. I'm thinking maybe do a lion because there is a were-lion in Snowpaw.
So there is. Yeah. We have a were-lion.
The were-lion doesn't get enough credit in my opinion, so why not?
Aki Leo needs some attention.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. So yeah.
Cool. Okay, so we actually have another guest, and he'll be coming on very shortly. His name is Kyle Roberts, and he's actually done a cover for Rob as well. We just met him last year at the San Diego Comic Convention, San Diego Comic Fest. I was walking around and I saw the cover. I go, hey, that's a Lone Wolf cover. And so I got to talking to him and I found out who he is. But anyway, he will be here shortly. He gets off work at 7, so he couldn't be exactly on time. But he will be drawing a Red Sonja. Okay, so you'll be looking forward to that, and it's going to be you're gonna like the work that he does. He's worked for a lot of companies. Started off with an Image back in the 90s, like many of the artists have these days. So yeah, he should be coming here very shortly.
He does some really good work.
He does.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah,
fun guy to talk to as well. Had a good time chatting with him.
Speak of the devil.
I was just introducing you, Kyle, and I was about ready to say that you're going to be doing a Red Sonja for the live auction that is going to be starting at $50.
Yeah.
So there you go. Okay. Now, in addition to all those auctions, we will see if I can. Get this.
But Rob, how is the weather there? I know you're far east, but central coast, like central
north of Pittsburgh, so more like northeast. It's probably like it's back down to like 34 right now. It was actually really nice yesterday. It got up to 70. But then it dropped back down. Yeah.
Yeah, because all that like tornadoes, like hitting 5 states?
Yeah, it's crazy. Weather's been nuts everywhere. Like
they had 5 storms that hit like 5 states. The first 2 I think were the really bad ones. That did some pretty good damage.
Yeah, we had a warning. I don't think it actually touched, but
Yeah.
our wind was pretty bad, and we had some trees around the area down. But
Wow.
nothing too
And,
terrible.
and it's interesting that how the damage that it created, because it kind of like it looked like it just kind of skip-scop, you know?
Yeah.
You know, it's like this house got damaged, skip 2 houses, they were okay, and then the next house got damaged. You know?
Like, who pissed off that storm?
Yeah. It's like it's personal.
What's
It's
going
very
on?
Like
personal.
somebody just threw a rock. You know how you
Yeah.
skip those
Yeah.
rocks over the water and stuff, and it just
Yeah.
kind of did.
Yeah,
did
we've had
something
all
like
4
that.
seasons like in the past just week. You know, so it's
Sounds like a Pennsylvania day.
Oh.
Yeah. Rob, did you get, or I don't know where Bill is, but Rob, did you get the dust from the dust storm stuck in the rain and snow?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, we had dust snow or dust rain yesterday.
That's messed up.
I came out of the
yeah.
office and it was like I had driven through like a cornfield full of dust all over the car and it was dust
Oh,
from New
gosh.
Mexico
Yeah.
and Texas and
wow.
Arizona from the dust storms.
So
Crazy.
wait,
we
Your
saw that
car
on
looks
the
like it drove through
news.
oatmeal.
I saw that on the news, and it just looked really weird to see that at this time.
but Kyle,
Yeah.
like if visibility is 0 and you drove into a cornfield, why did you keep driving? Why didn't you just go back in the office and try to ride it out?
No, like I came out from the office at the end of the night last night and my car had just been rained on. And there was just like dust blotches everywhere.
It was just everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so I had to wash my car today and then it rained. So I didn't actually have to wash my car today.
Drove through a pancake mix factory.
And then North Carolina had those big, what do you call those big balls of ice that was damaging.
Oh,
cars
yeah.
and
They were having
windows
hail.
over there.
Yeah.
I think Tennessee had those. Like it was the size of a quarter.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, they were
It's
huge.
Crazy.
Yeah, we've been pretty lucky over here. I live in Virginia Beach, so we're like, if you look at Virginia, it's like the bottom right-hand corner. We've got a decent little bubble. The temperature goes up and down. We get some rain, but we haven't been getting the crazy stuff you guys have been getting. You guys get real weather.
Yeah, we had some serious ice and snow over the winter. The ice got so heavy that it like poured down like a bunch of my gutters on the side. I got to get fixed.
Oh, jeez.
The gutters actually, by the weight,
it came down right off the top of
The weight, yeah. It's crazy.
What the heck?
I know, right? Like, I'm complaining.
Crazy
I'm
weather
writing to my
this time
congressman.
Yeah,
What the hell's wrong with this hail?
We almost get lake effect weather from Lake Erie, where we're at. So, like, yeah, we get a lot of snow throughout the.
So you're blaming Canada? I said we wouldn't get political tonight.
Well, I'm not blaming Canada because Erie's Pennsylvania. So I mean, I consider Lake Erie, even though it touches other
get that
states,
lake effect, that
it's
lake
Lake
effect.
Erie. Erie's
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Oh,
Well-
yeah, I've got family up in Michigan. They get that weather that comes off the lake is.
Oh yeah, they get
yeah.
it way worse than we do. So,
Oh, yeah.
I don't envy them.
Just
I'll,
like
I'll actually
California.
be in Detroit or near Detroit in May
Mhm.
for the Motor City Con. It's usually pretty. It's actually probably as cold as it is now. A month later, there.
I'm glad we all survived to be here tonight.
Yeah, that's like insane.
Well, it
Yeah.
has been exceptionally cold for us here in California, but this week we have warm weather. I don't know how long this is going to stay because
I know.
usually it stays pretty cold until towards the end of May.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to it. We actually did some walking and exercising in the past 2 days, so it felt good to
That's
feel
cool.
that sun. You know.
Yeah, I miss California weather. I miss California. I lived out there for like 12, 13 years, something like that.
Yeah, out of San Diego.
In San Diego, yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Hey,
miss
you
it.
like the beach cities. That's why you're in Virginia.
Well, I try to be
Again.
close to the water. I don't know why.
That would be my preference, but yeah, I'm kind of landlocked here.
Every time you mention Virginia Beach, the only thing I can think of is blue crab.
Yeah, there is a bit of seafood here. I mean, I really don't go to the beach here. The water is brown. I can't see what's in there, so it's like I
Right.
really don't go in the water. If I go visit family in Puerto Rico, that's different. I love
the
going
water
to the
is
beach
good
there. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right because every place I went to in Virginia Beach, the water was murky. You can't see.
Oh yeah, you don't know what's down there.
Yeah, it's all the way down that coast. Like
Oh.
you get the clear water like on the Gulf side, like in Florida. You don't
And
get,
we're all a bunch
you
of
don't get it
people.
on the East Coast.
We happen to be a group of people with good imaginations. So, like, you're just imagining every horrible thing that's down there. I'm just like, I'm not walking in there.
Well, you know,
Plus it's cold.
in Jersey, you know, like the mobsters would just dump everybody in the water, right?
Oh no.
Yeah, Paulie send you up the river.
Hey, we're gonna be sleeping with the fishes. Hey, get into some man's shoes.
Oh my God.
Hey, buy my book or I send you up the river.
I know when I was crabbing up there, I didn't
know
care. My feet would be sinking, you know, at the bottom, and I can't see a darn thing. You know,
Oh,
I'm just
man.
waiting for it to get that yank on the rope, pull it in, and get that blue crab in the net. You know,
It only takes a little bit of chicken on a string, man.
that's all it takes. That's
Yeah.
all it is. Those guys are easy suckers.
But see, I'm the guy eating the chicken. So we got a paradox here.
Yeah, and do you really want to eat that crab? Because if that was eating all these dead bodies and you're like, this is the best crab ever, I don't know. That's a bit morbid.
If Mel's out there fishing with fried chicken, all he's going to catch is me coming up.
Well,
out of the water.
I'm using a raw drumstick, and the funny thing is that drumstick will last me all day catching crab.
Yeah,
As long as I have it
That's
tied
pretty
really
dope.
well.
That's cool. That's
Well, it's just that they just latch onto it because you don't even give them a chance to like even eat
No.
it. So you just use that
Uh-huh.
same one all day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You
It's
just
like,
gotta
gotcha.
pull it, you know, just pull it in slowly so that way they don't let go.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and that's it. You know,
The Red Lobster
But-
special.
Man, Rob, you must have really like caught like went fishing or something. You're very knowledgeable.
So yeah, I grew up in a hunting fishing family, and then going to the beach, you know, like to Maryland and all, you know, down the coast, like you know,
You should really try out either Naked and Afraid or Alone, the survival TV show, because
I know.
they rely heavily on fishing.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if I was out there naked, everybody else would be afraid.
Okay, then go for Alone. Go for Alone. They
There you
put
go.
clothes on.
Yeah, clothed but alone. If they-
What's that?
if
Is
they
that
had
a
a
bear
show
out
that-
there? Oh no, it's a dude.
Yeah, if they had a show that's centered around pizza and burgers, I think I could do that one. I could
I'm
do
pretty
that.
sure that's called Ninja Turtles.
That's there you go. There you go. How to be a Ninja Turtle on the streets.
So, what do you hunt, Rob? What do you like
Yeah.
hunting for?
That's cool. How you hunt?
So like I said, yeah, my dad and my uncles and my cousins, like, you know, they're really big into like Western Pennsylvania deer hunting.
Okay.
So like the whitetails that are around here. I don't go as much as I used to. Just because the kids are, you know, busy with their, you know, events and stuff. But yeah, like I said, that you know, grew up in a big, you know, hunting family. I call my dad the great, you know, the great hunter because he's always he'll travel all the way out to like Colorado and you know, bring home like elk and mule deer.
God.
Man,
Yeah,
That's what I like is the elk.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
curious. Have you ever had squirrel? People always talk about it.
I haven't personally. I mean, I know like, you know, my dad and my uncles and my cousins have. I'm relatively a lot younger. Like I'm like all my cousins who hunt, they're like all older than I am. I was always the little one tagging along, you know. But yeah, no, I had never actually have partaken of squirrel.
Okay, what about
But yeah, I've had a lot of game meat, but not
okay, raccoon?
no. Yeah, no, mostly deer, bear, elk. I've actually had alligator before.
Bear?
Wow. That's
Bear,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Is it
Alligator's
rich?
good.
Is bear rich?
It's actually really good. It's very lean. Actually, I think I like the taste of bear better than like elk. Elk is very gamey.
Yeah.
But
Really?
yeah, bear's actually bear and bison are very similar to like almost kind of like what cow meat would taste like.
Yeah. That's interesting, dude.
Interesting.
Yeah,
No wonder.
I know deer has a very specific taste. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. The deer, elk,
has-
yeah, all
Deer
that.
taste- deer
They
tastes
have
like
a very
deer.
similar taste.
Yeah.
If you here we are talking about hunting on a comic show.
Deer isn't deer gamey to you?
It is, but the trick is to really cut off like this. There's like a sinew on the meat, like a silver skin is what we call it. If you
Okay.
cut that off, it's less gamey. And
okay.
then always putting it in a nice marinade. I like to actually use wishbone Italian dressing to like really give it a nice flavor when you throw it on the grill.
Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah,
Now it
because I
makes
don't
more
consider elk gamey at all. I don't. This could just be me.
Well, what's funny is I actually today made meatballs. I mixed cow and elk together, and I was actually pretty surprised that my wife didn't notice. Me and my boys and I are both like I could smell it off. Like after I took it out of the oven, I could smell it. But like, I'm even when we tasted it, my wife, usually she does, but she didn't say anything. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I got some bison burgers that I made a couple of days ago that I'm waiting to get to, but I got some other stuff that I'm trying to go through first. But man, every time I open the freezer, I'm just like looking at it, going, "Yeah, pretty soon, pretty soon." Yeah. Okay.
I think that's probably why, like in issue 1 with Snowpaw, I had like something in me had to have that scene with the deer.
That's what I was going to say. That's why maybe because you have all this like hunting experience, like in Snowpaw, definitely like she uses a hunting knife as well. All of that. It makes more sense now.
Yeah, well, even in Nightwolf, like there's a scene where like Rodney and Snowpaw are raiding his father's like hunting den for like all of like the for the rifle, the shotguns and stuff like that that they take with them, and he kind of ends up using a lot of that like in the around like between issue 6 and 8.
Yep.
Before they run out of the ammo.
Yeah, and we're going to be seeing. There's 3 issues now out on Snowpaw, and Mog is going to be working hard to get that done this coming Monday. She's going to go full force on that Snowpaw issue, so you'll be seeing that soon.
I can't wait.
To get caught up, you guys should go to Lone Wolf Comics website and pick up the first 3 issues of Snowpaw, along with go to the Nightwolf Kickstarter as well. Get caught up on that.
Seriously, without Nightpaw, Snowpaw would never. Not Nightpaw. Sorry, Nightwolf. Without Nightwolf, Snowpaw would have never been born. It's all because of Nightwolf.
Oh yeah,
and I gotta say that the artwork that you have on this latest Kickstarter for Nightwolf, that's some of the better ones that you've had.
You mean for covers or?
Yeah, for covers. Not trying to put down all the other ones, right? But this is like some of the nicer ones that you've had on this series. So I was pretty impressed with that. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, I try to work with I have my usuals, because always I have to have the people who can draw wolves, right? Werewolves. That's like the main thing. Yeah. So obviously Carlos, the illustrator for Nightwolf, and then Chris Williams. Those 2 are must-haves every campaign.
You've had Fabian Simao as well, I believe.
Yeah, I've had Fabian.
Yeah. That guy does some good work.
Yeah. And Chris Enot. Usually you think more of him like doing girl pinup stuff,
right?
But so it's funny. The first time he and I actually we had been friends on Facebook for a while, but he only lives like an hour from me, and we went to one of his hometown cons, if you will, in Akron.
Yeah.
And I had met him a couple years ago in person, and I was talking to him about doing covers and stuff, and he's like, I do more than just girls. I can draw monsters, just people. That's all they ask me for. So I make sure that with the girl, I always include the werewolf in the piece for him, because that way it's not just what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Kurt Zauer does the same thing. He has him draw. I think he's had him draw like a few of the monster covers as well. That he doesn't just draw girls. Yeah, but it's funny. That's what he gets a peg for, because he does do a good job. He's done like Lady Death and like one of his bestsellers. He did this like Little Mermaid piece. I don't even know what it was used for.
Yeah, I think it was a Zetascope
for such a long time. Yeah, was it? Okay.
I think it was Zetascope.
Then this guy wanted to use it to make these large like blanket covers kind of, and it came out really nice. And they were selling for like 250 at the shows, but the artwork was just like fantastic on that. And You don't have to use it as a blanket. You could use it as a wall cover.
Yeah, for a tapestry.
Yeah, as a
right, right. It's my tapestry.
I was
It's
like,
my
man,
castle.
yeah, I want to get a piece like that.
Yeah, that would be
But
nice.
yeah, this campaign too, we also have Zombie Tramp creator.
Well, yeah, that's right.
Dan Mendoza.
Mendoza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and he was very fast about it too. Like, well, so it took years to actually get him to be commissioned, right? So like he's been so busy, he just happened to have like a free moment. He's like, "Hey, you want me to finally get that cover done for you?" I was like, "Yeah."
Wow.
He's like,
"Yeah, actually had a free moment."
Right, exactly. But then my thought was like, he got it done in like 2 days, and I'm like, so if he's pumping them out like this fast, I was like, he either is making a bunch or he just is like, I'm doing it when I want.
No, he does draw fast. Though.
Yeah. I mean,
I've seen
knocked
him
him out of the park.
Yeah, so he does those pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Along with
So very thankful for him for that.
Him and Bill McKay. Even McKay, Bill does the same thing too with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're both great.
Yeah, I've actually Bill. I've actually mentioned to him that I want him to do, and he just hasn't had the time. So hope he's the next one. I'm trying to. He's on a list of comic artists that I have that I want to get for it. Drax Gal is another one. But those are like more for the Nightwolf series. Of course, when we got great stuff coming for Snowpaw, we try to keep it a little less sexy.
Yeah.
Bill's stuff is great. We were able to get him to do one of the covers for our Nira X book. That was really nice.
Yeah, Kyle, as we mentioned earlier, had done a cover for Snowpaw, which was amazing. I love that pirate. That's one of my favorite variant covers so far in the Snowpaw series. Was that the pirate werewolves?
The colorist did a great job.
Yeah, that's Bruna. She's the colorist for the book too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She crushed it. It looked better than I thought it would. The colors really made it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, your art too, obviously.
But mostly the colors. I was really like, wow, that looks really good.
Yeah, it really. Yeah, she made it pop for sure. Like, especially being a dark night scene, like she was able to make it vibrant still. Which is, I think, something that she does bring to the book in general. There's a lot of like the inside at night scenes or like the outside dark scenes. Like she just somehow makes it still vibrant and able to see and not just muddied and dark.
Yeah, so it has that, you can see that depth in it and make it pop more. Yeah, which is what I like to see when I'm looking at the work of a colorist.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Ilya, this is my werewolf hairstyle. I decided to put this on because of Rob is here. All right, 7:33. Let's take a look at where everybody is at with this art auction. Let's start with Bill here. Oh, let's start with Kyle. There you go. Red Sonja is coming out.
We're just throwing them everywhere.
Since he was late, we put him on first.
There you go. That's what was up.
Oh, that hand is moving fast there. Okay. All right. And we are looking for a bid of $50 on that. So if you want to put Kyle on the block, put him up on the board, $50 is the opening bid there.
Oh, let me adjust the lighting here a little bit. I don't have a live stream set up here. I may have to.
Maybe up,
over, away.
Okay, I'm seeing it.
Oh, there we go. Gotta find.
That's looking pretty good.
Awesome.
It's a little dark.
Nice. That's coming out really nice.
That looks amazeballs, you guys.
Wow,
Oh, thank you.
$50 is a cheap start for that piece.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at Bill now.
light
See what
this
Bill
room.
has. He's working on a Savage Land Rogue, which is a popular piece to do these days. There he goes. He's got the head going on there. Hair is flying out. Jungle hair. As we like to call it.
Yeah, she's got her jungle hairspray.
What? I can't believe you're doing all of that with a mechanical pencil. It's like a 0.5 or something. That's insane.
That's how they do it.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
And Bill is looking for an opening bid of $40 on that. Okay.
That's what I noticed with like a lot of comic artists. They always just hold that one mechanical pencil and it's like super thin, and they're drawing it. It's like, wow.
I think that's kind of like going back to like high school and college, like, 'cause, having the mechanical pencil and then doodling in class.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what I
it
used
does
to do.
harken back to that. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Well, I was always wondering why don't like comic artists use fatter the fatter pencils or something? They always seem to get stuck to that tiny thin mechanical. But I think it's the style. Like they have to make it super clean, the line, right? The crisp lines.
Well, it all depends. I've got a bunch of different pencils. I'm drawing with my little Walmart pencil tonight, but I got a couple different lead holders, and I got a couple different pencils that I like to work with. Sometimes I'll draw if I'm drawing a rendered pencil piece. I like to draw with actual color pencils because the weight of just how soft the I don't want, for lack of a better word, the lead. I don't know what the color pencils are actually made out of because I'm not a scientist. But the lead of a color pencil, for lack of a better word, is you could press down and get some different textures that you can't get with like a 2B or an HB lead.
Okay.
So it makes it exercises different muscles, I think.
Yeah, and plus you're using it for the characteristic that pencil has.
Right.
So,
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So
For better than that.
different tools bring out different things and different techniques.
This is the first time I've worked on paper in like 4 months.
I hear you. We live in the future. That's why.
Yeah.
I reached for the back button like 3 times as I was penciling this at lunch. I was like tapping the bottom left corner of the paper like, oh crap.
You know what I do is I keep thinking when I'm drawing, I flip the screen left and right. Like you flip it horizontally to make sure that the proportions are right. And like I try to flip it in my mind. I was like, oh, it's not flipping.
It's not flipping. It's not flipping. I can't pinch to zoom.
I definitely need that, man. Are you kidding? Like I'm at the age like I'm taking my glasses off to draw. Like yes, definitely. I wish I could pinch and zoom right now.
And I can't just select something and slide it over. So I've just got to erase the whole part that I want to change. Yeah, little things like that.
all right, let's take a look at Mog's piece where she has what she's working on there. She's working on a snow piece
Great paint. Yeah.
like this. This is going to be a full-fledged work that she's going to be doing that we normally do for $250. Okay, but for tonight, we're going to start this up at $150. If it does it sell, then we're going to be taking it to the con. C2E2 is coming. Well, WonderCon is next week, and then C2E2 is the weeks after that.
Yeah.
So if you want to place a bid on that, $150 plus you get the Snow Pop first issue, and so you can get
art by me. So it's almost like you're getting a Kickstarter special, really. You get the original art, art by me inside, and story by this amazing guy Rob.
And when you guys are at C2E2, you need to tell them to let me in. I've been applying there for years, and I've been denied every year.
You know what? We get that. We hear that from so many people, and I'm going to tell you, we had the same problem as well. Last year was the first time that we got into C2E2, and I've been applying since 2017. So I'm not saying that it's going to take that long for years. I don't know what it takes or how these guys jury the people that are in there. But we've got a lot of friends, saying the same thing. Like, hey, what's it going to take for me to get in there? Some of these guys have been doing the show on a regular basis, and now they're not able to get in. Some guys haven't been there and are trying to get in for the first time. And I'm thinking, am I going to get in this year, right? And okay, I got in this year. Will I get in next year? How long is this going to last?
It could be they're rotating it too, right?
They are. That's what they say. That they are.
Yeah, they say that, but I mean, I see the same people going every year.
Right.
Oh, really?
Right. And there's some people that have been there going for years. So they're not being pushed out. And I'm not trying to say anything against them, but they've got something going. They're not sharing what their mythology is on how they decide or what factors they're looking at. So we don't know.
Yeah.
I just kind of like count my blessing that we got in, and then now we got in for Emerald City, we got in for C2E2. Hopefully, we get in for New York later on this year.
Oh, New York is good.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sneak
Anyway.
inside your suitcase. I'm gonna be inside your suitcase, and when you open it up, I'm gonna be like, "I am art supplies."
Anyway,
that
I
would
think
be cool.
are
You
we
could
due
use me
for
as a
commercial
write-off. It'll
break?
work.
Aren't we due for a commercial break? Shall we go?
Yeah.
Was it too late?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's take a short break right now, and when we come back, we'll talk more with Rob about Night Wolf. And I want to thank Stevie B for bringing the bid up to $60 on that Red Sonja.
Oh, wow. I didn't know we got a
be
bid.
right
That's
back
amazing.
After
All
this
right,
commercial
cool.
break.
FOC, a comic industry term for the final day a new comic can be ordered by a local comic shop. So, what does that mean to you? Well, it's your last chance to order a new comic book from your local comic shop. Order up! The FOC show will go over every book that's about to be cut off every Friday afternoon.
I'm going to highlight some of the stuff that I think is really worth paying attention to,
so that you can put in an order at your LCS for as many copies or as many variant covers as you want.
Sometimes the store needs to know to up their orders.
Never miss out on a popular comic again. Order up, part of the experience. Live from New York. Live from New York. What? Oh, sorry. Live from Cleveland? It's Friday night? It's Friday Night Live! With Nancy McCann. And Ricky. And sometimes Carlos. And featuring boxes and boxes of rare comics. Unique collectibles. Lots of smiles and conversations with new friends. Friday Night Live with Comics Unlimited. Friday night from 9 to 11 on The Experience.
Oh, we're missing Mel.
Huh. And we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back.
No, but is it possible for Kyle to bring up your Kickstarter? Because I was jonesing for that, and we didn't get to that part yet. For Night Wolf.
The producer Kyle.
Yeah, producer Kyle.
Okay, producer
Please,
Kyle.
Is it possible?
Can we do it in like 10 minutes? Because the reason we're back early is because I have to go where Mel went, and we're waiting for Mel to come back. So I can go to where Mel went.
Yes.
They took a commercial break and some other kind of break.
It was too short. Usually outbreaks are longer for a bathroom break, but this time it was too short. So everyone's in a hurry. Oh.
This is why you go before we leave, kids.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Mog.
Is it true? Like this. Okay, I have a good guy friend. I'm not gonna name names, but we were in a hot debate that girls versus guys, like who can hold it longer.
Oh, I'm pretty
And
sure that.
I was in the opinion girls can hold it longer.
No way.
No.
And then he said, "Dude, I have 2 girls as my daughters, and I can tell. No, guys can hold it longer." I was like, "No, we're fighting." So Kyle, why did you say with such certainty?
Because I know how long I've held it when circumstances have required it. And
and if you between me and my wife, like she's up at like 3 a.m, and I'm like, oh my god, again. My daughter, same difference. Like my boys, like they don't get up in the middle of the night anymore.
I don't know. My experience is the opposite, but okay.
Well, you must be twisting your legs.
No, but the thing is, guys, okay. I don't know, but you know what? You have to know. I've been in girls' high school, like girls' school, all my life. I have many experiences with dealing with girls, so that's why. So when I heard that, when we got into that hot debate, so it's kind of surprising. But you know what? I'll keep that in mind.
I'll take it under advisement.
So how long do you last? Like 4 hours? Do you, Kyle? Because you said personally.
So I'm a teacher, so I have to train myself. I don't have the luxury, right? Like where we have 5-minute passing periods and 75-minute classes.
Oh.
So, there are stretches where I go at minimum, 2.5 hours.
You have to just
without the opportunity. And that's 5 days a week. Like, so that's just, but I've trained myself, right? Like the Dread Pirate Roberts, I am immune to iocane, and I can hold it until graphic design 2 and 3 ends.
Yeah, my wife calls me a camel because I could drink a ton of water and just not go. But like once the seal's broken, then that's a different story.
Wow, so maybe there is a point to this. Interesting.
As a live stream producer, I sometimes have to go 6 or 7 hours without actually being able to take a break. So I'm usually like eating during commercial breaks and like having to go and I don't know, other things during commercial breaks. Like one day I did a show with the flu. I did shows with the flu, and it was like, okay, I've got to throw up, so I've got to do it during a commercial break.
That's impressive.
But, that's impressive to be able to, especially when you have the flu and it's coming. Sometimes you can't even hold it in your mouth before you.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I started learning when I was a radio producer, doing live radio, and especially when you're doing sports games, you can't stop because you got to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean, or whatever. So, we had to make this change. But the one thing about the experience is, I work from home, so when I have to go, it's 3.5 feet. It's just there, so I can take a break and go handle that and be back. Mel left 2.5 minutes before I did, and he's still not back. So,
I have the same luxury. My bathroom is right across the hall. I just open my door, open another one. Yeah.
We've had all these tornado watches and stuff. It's I've just you got to be concerned.
So this is the Nightwolf campaign, and it looks like we are a little bit over. Last time I saw it was 10,005. So we've got another $150 added to that. So that is great to see. Thank you very much. As Mel mentioned earlier, that's a great amount of money, but it's also kind of a bare minimum for paying for the art, paying for the printing. So the rest stuff now it's getting into, paying for the other stuff, the stretch goals, the fun stuff. So yeah, now that we are in the funding, we are funded, so we got stretch goals coming up, and let's keep this going. We got a whole week to go. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Nightwolf, it's a story about a young man who finds out he's born a werewolf, gets thrown into a supernatural war against demons, witches, vampires, other werewolves during a modern time. Now, we were mentioning how Snowpaw came from Nightwolf. Well, she is Nightwolf's mentor in the series, and so she kind of takes him under her wing and trains him how to be a werewolf. And as you can see, so these are some of the preview pages from each issue. I have 2 pages per issue that you can view. It's much like going to a comic shop and looking through them. And I think we had somebody had a question: are you printing in China or Canada? Actually, no. I am printing domestically for my single issues. So the only time I print through China is when I'm doing like my hard cover and soft cover trades. So that's like every couple of years.
It looks freaking amazing, Rob. The art and everything, and the villains, man. Like it's always, I love it. The villains.
Yeah, Carlos. Like when I first found him, like he and I like clicked immediately. Like the sense of like what we wanted to do with the series. Keep it like with the werewolf types, keeping the story dark. Have it kind of like that. That still have it's kind of like a Western Eastern meat kind of thing. He's from Chile, so he tends to have like a slightly bit of an anime fling to like the American style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really cool, dude.
Thank you.
I think I like that slightly the anime style too. It makes it unique. And in fact, I'm thinking I also want to say Bill, like his style is like that too. So
oh, thanks.
I don't know.
I take a lot of influence from it for sure. I don't know how much of it comes across in the art, but it is a huge influence.
Yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of action in this series. There's a lot of werewolf action. We have demons, witches. This is a poltergeist. While he's trapped in purgatory, there's a whole bunch of crazy shit that's going down in this series.
I would imagine the poltergeist would be the hard one to defeat.
Yeah, so what's funny is like in this issue he's trapped in purgatory and he can't use his lycanthropy because it's a power driven from nature, right? So in purgatory there's no life, there's no nature. It's basically kind of like a shell of like the real world, where like beings are trapped in between heaven and hell. And so this poltergeist, basically anything that's trapped within purgatory is basically trying to drain anything that's living that comes in there, tries to drain the life energy to be able to escape and go back to the real world. So that's kind of like what's happening in this succubus, who is actually somebody from Nightwolf's past, is helping him to escape. And so her demon fire is able to ward off the poltergeist.
Man, but that sounds if you take her away, it's like there's
he's
escape.
Well, that's so he later finds out in the issue that so he has his kinetic energy power like that he usually has when he transforms from man to wolf. That he can channel into things. He actually finds out that he's still able to use that. So it's not necessarily the same as like his lycanthropy. It's actually something else entirely. So he learns that he is able to use that in defense later on.
That's a very interesting way to create a new power within the domain of the werewolf.
That's something I've been kind of alluding towards a long time, is that he isn't just a werewolf. So like in my world, like I kind of have like what I call neo-humans. They're kind of like mutants to like Marvel, and I've been kind of alluding that he is one of them, but like also, everybody thought that was like one of his werewolf powers, but it's not actually that. So
that's awesome because it's like you're surprising the readers. Like you give them like these crumbs where they'll get suddenly super excited.
Yeah.
A little bit at the end, and then like you thought this was it, and that's the max.
Yeah,
then,
exactly. Yeah, you got to give them a little bit of a twist here and there.
Yeah. So that's almost what these Neo humans.
Neo.
Are they like demigods? It sounds like.
So they're so yes, they would be kind of considered like kind of similar to demigods. So like in like, as you kind of know, in my mythos, I have celestials.
Yeah.
And the celestials are kind of like the gods, and then they have like children that are like elementals, demigods, and other kind of things like that. So like neo humans would be like the offspring of a demigod.
Oh.
So they're not like as powerful as a demigod would be, but they're like, similar to like I said, and like the X-Men, they would be like, they just have like that kind of like a power base thing, that makes it, but they're still, they're not like immortal. They're not, they just they have that one extra special gift.
Yeah. Still, that makes it super powerful because it is like origin of the neo humans, right? And then with the werewolf, that's
really, I mean that's just it. So
insane.
like with the with this breed of werewolf, the gene is it's recessant, so it doesn't like come out with every generation, so it kind of skips for a while. With him it happened to trigger, but again, like because he has obviously something else in his lineage that and he's not just like the pure blood or purebred, which is like Snowpaw, or the mongrel, which is like Blackclaw or like Grimfang. He's obviously something different, so something has gone. He's what I like to call a freak among freaks.
Still, no, think about this. This can prelude to this can be the prelude to him being like totally alpha, like the Wolf King, because he's got the smidge of that god blood, and then he's werewolf. That's insane power. He's like the ultimate Wolf King. That's crazy. That just
he's got to go through a lot of that the Greek tragedy hardship before he gets to on high.
But still, man, that is insane. Love it. Yeah.
Yeah, and since we're up to issue 10, I do want to say issue 12 is the end of this story arc. So 13 starts an entirely new story arc for Nightwolf. So we are getting down to the end of this one, and the next few issues are just action, and starting to tie up those loose ends.
Are you going to keep the numbering? Like, are you going to reset? Like,
no, I'm going to keep the numbering.
Okay.
I've been intending to make this as an ongoing series, so I'm going to stick true to that.
Nice.
Yeah. So and the way I kind of like saw like the issues too is like each 12 issues is kind of like if it would be like a movie or a first season, if it depending on how it would go. Like, so I kind of always thought about it that way. That, and like when I originally planned it, it was going to be like a monthly series, which clearly that didn't happen. So like I wanted to have like an arc a year. Kind of like the traditional, like how a lot of comics used to do it. Now it's I feel like they like change up the arcs in the middle of an arc and change artists in the middle of, it just gets a little wonky these days. Yeah, I wanted to have like that true long form storytelling.
Okay, so that's important to you.
Mm-hmm.
to be like someday like issue 50, right? Like the special giant sized issue, whatever it might be. Okay.
Yeah. That again, I'm a traditionalist that way. That's what I grew up with. I enjoy that myself. I like having that long form storytelling. With Snowpaw, what we planned, originally it was just to be a 4-issue mini series, and so like the way I'm going to probably do that is keep it as 4-issue story arcs, unless it warrants a longer form. Because like I have so much with her that I can do, considering it's like 200 years before Nightwolf. So I could jump in moments in time and kind of go back and forth if I wanted to. So I have a lot of like leeway to play with that. And so it's kind of like at that time, I think for me, it's like, okay, well, what story do I want to tell right now with this character in this time frame?
Doing the Snowpike and doing even in Roxy, the 1920s and then the late 1800s with the Snowfall story is surprisingly very educational. I didn't know it was like, wow, I'm learning history.
Right. Well, in a lot of the things that I try to like look up, okay, well, how can I make this feel like it's actually this time period? Because like I was even going back, especially, and for the past issues, like a lot of the like stuff I went into and was like telling you what I wanted to do, or some of the specific like time period stuff. Like, but even for like this latest issue coming out for issue 4, like there's a period where they're like in the sewers, and I was like trying to look up, okay, well, how was the sewer system set up in England at this time?
Yeah. I was looking up. I was even trying to prompt like I was actually looking at the 1800s and the early 1900s London sewer system. Like they have blueprints of those maps. And I was trying to like match it and stuff. I remember that was kind of a headache, but it was really also rewarding in a way where I get to know about things that I would have never.
Right, but you also have the benefit too that like a lot of it like is in the fantasy side of like
Yes,
you get to like embellish
kind
on.
of, yeah.
Yeah.
But still, there's a lot of that historical things, research, and trying to figure things out. It's just super fun. I remember even just doing trying to find a box like. Yeah. Mel, you're totally muted. You've been muted the entire time while you're eating cake.
We were talking, Mog and I were having a discussion yesterday, and she had to draw like hangers in a coat room, right? And we're going, what kind of hangers did they have back then? Were they just the wire hangers, or did they have any fancy hangers? And so you start
just
doing some research on that. It's hard to find.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So hard.
Small details like that. You're going, man, what did they use?
What did they use?
They had the golden, gilded hangers.
Yeah. Was it a triangle like hanger? Was it a
right? And then and like for the cars in the 1920s, were they using lug nuts back then?
No,
no, they weren't.
Yeah, they were like that old
wire spokes.
Yeah, they had that little locking pin that just went into the
yeah.
and that's all that kept it on there.
Yeah, so I was thinking they wouldn't need any of those iron tire things.
Well, that's why they were using those spoke tires, spoke rim tires. It wasn't as big as they have now. So
what would be a good reference, even though like I think Ruxy's in the United States, but like another like a good reference period would be have you guys ever seen Peaky Blinders?
Oh, there you go.
Maybe I was trying to watch.
That would be a really good reference.
Yeah, for the Ruxy time period, even though it's in England, there's still a lot of similarities in the vehicles, what they do, their clothes.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And there is actually a couple episodes I think that they do show the U.S.
Around
the 1920s. So that would be a good reference if you ever get a chance. Watch that.
By the way, guys, Rob had an amazing visual memory. Like for some reason, when he watches like these things, he would like somehow record it in his brain, automatic, and he would say, "Hey, from this scene here, it has this thing," and there was some like, what the heck? It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a wealth of useless pop culture knowledge.
The thing is, you do it just like you don't even try. It just like goes in your brain and just stays there. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I try to like whenever obviously, like for example, like what you were probably talking about was when we were talking about the streets of England. when I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, I remember in this game that I played, like it was
Yeah, it was Assassin's Creed.
Syndicate, yeah.
Yeah, you're
And I was
telling
like,
me
all right,
this?
hold on, I'm gonna go back to my old game and like
Yeah.
walk to
Oh,
this area and take a screenshot.
you know, but really, thanks to you, I got to really look at the Westminster Church because there's many scenes of the Parliament and the Westminster Church in Snowpaw. And guys, whoever watching this and any supporter of Lone Wolf Comics, please, like Rob has extensive research. Him and I sometimes we will be like, okay, was this angle shot?
Yeah,
It
right.
has to
Yeah,
be like this. That like wow.
that was the fun thing too with going back and using the game is like I was able to get him on top of the roof and do a different angle.
Yeah, but thanks to your brain that you just like play randomly. Okay, one day, I bet you while we were playing Assassin's Creed, you would have never thought I'm gonna use this.
You're right, yeah, because I mean, I think we didn't even move to this house. So we moved to this house in 2015. So I played that game probably 2014.
What?
Yeah. So
and then you just remember like, okay, there was a scene here. Let me look it up. It's like, oh god, it's like, Jesus.
I remember everything.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well, at least I used to be able to. I think my short-term memory is starting to kick the bucket, but like
anything though, I think with you, like anything visual media that you hit a note inside you, like say
yeah,
you
I think
enjoyed
something.
it,
Yeah.
Then you just
when it resonates with me, it
Yeah.
definitely sticks for sure.
Yeah. Wow, Bill, you're insane.
Yeah, you could even ask my wife too. Like, I would be like, I could hear a song from like the 80s or 90s, and I could tell
Yeah.
you when, where, and what I was doing.
Oh yeah, because you used to be a singer too.
Mhm.
So like, would you like hear it a while? If you listen to a lot often, you start to sing along the whole lyrics and stuff. Do you do that?
Yeah, oh yeah. I say, yeah. If a song comes on, yeah, I'm either if I'm sitting at my computer. I remember one time being in the office, probably early 2018, and I'm just singing in my office, not even thinking about anybody else who could hear me. And one of my coworkers was like, "Oh, you have a really good voice," and I was like, "Oh, you heard that?"
Yeah, but you still remember you're into metal? You sing metal? Heavy
At
metal?
that time, no. Actually, that was
You said you could-
I was listening to
your mother's-
something a little more melodic, less grunge.
But you remember you told me that you sang the whole
I do.
Mother's Day.
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah. That was really cool.
All right, let's go over to Kyle.
Yeah.
Roberts, and find out more about Kyle, because I know a lot of people aren't aware of who Kyle is. So, Kyle, you started off with Image. Is that where you?
I did back in I think it was like 1995. In 1995.
Okay.
So
and you were with Extreme Studios. What books did you work on back then? You were an inker, right?
I was. So I did background inks. So I was basically an ink assistant for Danny Mickey and Jonathan Sabal and Marlo Akisa. So basically anybody who was inking in the studio, at some point I probably did some of their backgrounds for them.
Oh, okay.
That's really cool.
So in terms of like books that I got credit on would be like Team Youngblood, Kid Supreme.
Oh yeah.
There might have been a couple others, but like I worked on everything that we were kind of putting out. So Angela and Glory, like stuff like that. So it was pretty much, I don't know if they were really good, comics, but I was working on them and the art looked cool.
Well, but they're kind of I think they're trying to bring Evangeline back.
I saw that. I saw
Youngblood is coming back.
Yeah, I think aren't they doing an Evangeline TV or movie or something?
They're trying to do that, but I think they're going to try to come back with the comic series, because they just had that Kickstarter that Rob put through Marat, which collected all the Evangeline stories, and John Stidsman, who we have on here pretty often, started that series off with the covers as well, who did some good work back then. And so that's in the works, but I haven't heard anything of it of late. right? And one of the books they did, I think that was doing pretty good at that time, was Supreme. So I'm pretty sure that once they get Youngblood and a bunch of those other books, Supreme won't be long to follow in that line of comics that Rob plans to bring
Yeah, I
back.
was gonna say Youngblood I think he was selling it himself.
Yeah, Youngblood he's doing himself.
Yeah.
I think he plans to do everything else himself on that.
Well, I don't know what he owned. I know he sold the rights to a bunch of stuff decades ago, and what he may have retained, I can't speak to.
Yeah. Somehow he was kind of alluding that he got Youngblood back.
Okay.
Because he's putting some Youngblood stuff.
Yeah,
out,
he's producing it again. Like he just recently put something out, and it was a big hullabaloo because he was saying about he wasn't putting it in the retail stores. He was actually selling direct to customers, and I don't think he was crowdfunding it. He was just putting it out there.
Right. Yeah, and there was like some little bit of dispute, a little misunderstanding, but I think they got that kind of hashed out.
There was a little drama.
Yeah.
just
a little.
There always is with that guy.
Yeah, well, and I've known Rob for a long time. I still, feel like I'm friends with him and so forth.
Okay.
I do see him and stuff. But yeah, not to speak badly of him, but he has that kind of stuff that follows him all the time.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so that stuff is like in the works. And then you also have your own imprint, Beyond Comics, right?
Yes.
So what do you have under that imprint there?
So I have produced, I think, up to this point, 4 different comics. So it started with an anthology, and then from there it dovetailed. So the anthology had 5 stories. It was called 5 from Beyond. And within those 5 stories, there were 2 stories that kind of dovetailed into their own series. Right. And the first was Electric Youth, which was a 2-issue miniseries, or a single story across 2 issues. So that was about 3 or 4 years ago that we crowdfunded that. And then just this past year, my second series, Parent Guardian, we launched the first issue. And so I'm currently working on issue number 2 right now. I'm about halfway through illustrating the second issue of that.
Oh, okay.
And so one was like a horror sci-fi series with set in the late 80s, kind of inspired by my friends in high school. That was the Electric Youth. And then Parent Guardian is kind of inspired by my relationship with my daughter. So, they're personal to me, and I think they're cool, and they've been successful so far.
Okay,
so, I mean, moderately successful enough for me to keep doing it as kind of like a hobby and side hustle.
Sure.
And it gets me to conventions, and it gets me meeting fun people like you and coming onto things like this. So it keeps me creative, keeps me engaged, and
keeps the juices
what I like
flowing.
to do.
So if people want to, do you have a website where people can go to check out some of the things that you have?
I do. So I have shops. So if people are interested, the easiest way to go about it is just finding me on Instagram. And my handle is my name, Kyle Roberts _art. And there are links to physical and digital versions of the books that I have in print. So that's the quickest and easiest way. I don't have a home website anymore. I let it go a couple years ago. But I'm very Googleable. So you type in Kyle Roberts art, you're gonna find me pretty quickly.
The Google would be a verb.
Right? So I'm very Googleable.
Mog is the same way. Mog is the same way. We don't have a website. Easy to find. Just type in that name. Very unique. That's going to be the only one that really pops up. And if there's anything that you want, just hit us up directly with what you see. If you go to any of her sites, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, whatever you see there, you just ask if it's available. Most of the time, I try to keep it updated to say if the item has sold or not. Right, but things can move very quickly. But yeah,
what about
we're
you,
glad
Robert?
to have you here, Kyle. And I'm glad that we had a chance to meet you at San Diego Comic Fest.
Yeah, so I don't know if Rob knows this. So Mel came by the booth and he picks up Snowpaw, the one with my cover on it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like trying to sell him on the book. and I'm like, oh, by the way, the regular artist is like 2 rows back because one, I didn't know Mog was going to be there.
Yeah.
I just saw her walk by as I was setting up. I'm like, I think that's Mog. And so I'm like, oh yeah, and an extra selling point is you can get the actual artist to sign this, and he's like, yeah, I know, it's my wife, and I'm like, oh shit.
So
I wanted to hear your whole. I wanted to hear your whole pitch and everything, and you did a good job.
You know what? What's funny about that is that Dave Lentz, the letterer, did the same exact thing to me. So I've never actually seen Dave Lentz's real face. He's always had that cartoon picture of himself.
Right.
So like in Baltimore this year, I'm going through the whole spiel. And then he's like, yeah, I know, I'm the letterer. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, Dave, you.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, I was like,
it's not so bad between me and Kyle, but when the publisher doesn't know your face.
That's what I mean. I'm like, I never had seen his actual real face until that day. I was like, oh, you. And if you ever had talked to him, like either just on chat or whatever, or had any interactions with him, he's a very he's very funny, snarky, and sarcastic. So that was like him to a T. Just doing that, it was like, okay, that's it.
Wow, that's kind of cruel.
That was his favorite day.
It was too. Yeah, he's like, hey, remember when I got you?
Oh no.
I got one here for you. It's a little bit of a different take. Okay, so at San Francisco last year, these 2 Korean guys come up to Mog and they're saying hi to her, and she doesn't recognize them. Okay, now one of the guys was her TA for 2 years, and the other guy was a student at the art classes that she was teaching at her church. So he's been there for a number of years as well, and she didn't recognize any of them. Gets really bad sometimes.
I mean, you see so many faces coming and going at cons.
For 2 years. You've seen this guy for 2 years.
Out of context is tough. I run into students that I had, 2 or 3 years ago, right? And I haven't seen them. They've now, they were freshmen, now they're juniors or seniors, and it's like, okay, I have to recognize your face, subtract 2 years, remember which class, what seat you were sitting. I have to go my mind palace. I'm going resorting and repositioning, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay. I know your name now because I just found you on the seating chart in my brain from 3 years ago.
The brain seating chart.
That's a lot of students to go through.
It is.
I was hoping Kyle would say something similar, yeah, and I couldn't remember that guy.
No,
but
I haven't done enough
I
cons.
think my mind
I haven't been around. No.
Yeah, and I remember it's like, oh man, come on, Kyle, help me out.
I mean, my wife didn't even recognize her own cousin the other day we were out, and I'm like, that's your cousin.
Oh, okay. Didn't recognize his own cousin.
She's like, oh, that's all right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, sometimes that does happen.
I'll blame the post-COVID world.
My wife's probably thinking, hey, Rob, darling, I only had eyes for you. That's why. That's why.
Well, I hope she wouldn't have eyes for her cousin. She's not from
I
West
didn't.
Virginia.
I just couldn't,
Yeah, well, it's funny because apparently he grew a mullet and his beard was longer. I'm like, yeah, but he's still same face.
Oh, you recognize him immediately.
Oh yeah, I recognized him right away. It wasn't that hard. I mean, she was too busy playing on her phone and TikToking.
Oh, okay. My gosh.
Another verb.
Yeah.
Right, we got Googling and TikToking.
You know what? I never heard of this word before. Kyle, you used it. You said ducktailing. What is that?
Dovetailing.
Dovetailing.
So it spreads from one thing into another seamlessly. I mean, we could ducktail it too. That works. I actually like ducktail better.
I was thinking, I'm trying to think really hard. The moment you said that word, I'm like, duck tail? What's so significant with duck tail?
Well, at least it'd be
Oh my
water
God.
resistant.
I was thinking so hard.
Yeah, don't get her thinking too hard. It could go south.
Forgive me.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at where everybody is on the auction board. We do have 70 on Kyle's Red Sonja from Ilya.
Oh, yeah,
So
Kyle.
thank you
Let's
very much
look at
for
Kyle's.
that. Yeah. Let's take a look at that Red Sonja.
Oh,
Trying to get this thing facing correctly. There we go.
damn, so sexy.
Nice.
Yeah,
Getting
nice.
there.
Like
Super
the
cool,
sword.
dude. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So that currently has a bid of 70. We are looking for the next bid on that. If you want to place a bid of 75 or higher, we will take it. Okay. Let's go to Bill Mouse with Savage
Yes.
Land Road.
Yes, sir.
Bottom. Nothing but sexy art today.
Yeah.
And
I don't
Savage
just
Land
draw
Road.
girls. I want to draw dinosaurs. I don't know if I have enough time.
Monsters.
Yeah.
How about animals, man?
Gotta
Like
get the dinosaur in
werewolves.
Or the saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good call.
Put a saber tooth back there. That could be a
Hey,
good.
hey,
one.
Rob. Since you know much about were animals, if it's a dog were, like a dog, not a wolf, werewolf,
were-dog?
a were dog, is that called a kobold? No, right?
I
heard
think
something like
that is one type. But again, like I think it's a specific breed.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not like because you know how like dogs, like there's a million breeds.
Yeah.
I think that's more. It's still like along the kind of the same like dog type breed, if you will. It still has like the pointy ears, not like the floppy ears.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Is there like a
Right.
theme folio of where things that one finds all things where?
You know, like if you Google like where, if like you say like where shark or where lion or where whatever, like there's actually names. Like I actually Googled where lion because since I put one in my book, there's actually like a like lycanthropy or lycanthrope is like werewolf. There's actually I forget exactly what the terminology is, but there is like a something thrope. That's I think it's like it's like whatever the Greek or it's whatever like the Latin or Greek word for lion and then anthrope.
Sure.
Wow. Didn't Leo Anthro? I don't know.
I mean, that's probably not far off.
Oh, it's just so amazing. There's so much like a world of this.
Yeah, there's even a were shark.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's like in World of the World of Darkness, which is like the Werewolf Apocalypse and the Vampire the Masquerade. They have like a list of like different. I think there's even like were rats and like other like random like creatures like in that world.
So if you get bit by a were rat, you become a were rat. Is that?
I mean, I would imagine in that series, but yeah, oddly enough, so like I wanted to kind of break away from that a little bit. So the only werewolf that has the ability to turn others is like the mongrels, because they were given that ability by Lucifer to build an army against basically kind of like take over the world kind of a situation.
All right.
Whereas like the other werewolves are like you actually have to be born that way and through.
Okay, got it.
Wait,
so
that's
a were rabbit
fair.
would not transfer its.
That were like
I mean, I'm pretty sure were rats, but if they breed as fast as real rats,
but hey, think about this. Mongrels, that's basically a were dog.
Could be.
I mean,
Dogs don't get love.
Well, wolves and dogs are kind of related, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we get a better look at your piece, Mog?
Huh? Oh. Yeah. Close up.
Yeah, because we are looking for a bid of 150 on this.
Yeah, that's looking dope.
I'm having fun with the lion.
Yeah, the lion is awesome.
She's gonna be clothed. Don't worry, guys.
See, far away, I thought the lion. When I was looking at the lion, I didn't know that's what it was. I thought that was her breast.
They're facing the wrong direction.
This is her bosoms.
I couldn't tell. It's because
the mouth looks like a corset.
This piece has multiple meanings.
Yeah,
it'll sell because it has boobs.
Yeah. But that's cool. Where at? Actually, that would be a really useful ability, Kyle. So.
Okay. And if you haven't yet, put in #EXP Nightwolf, and we will do the giveaways when we come back after the commercial break. So what I'm going to be giving away tonight is this fantasy piece here. And I don't know who did the art. And sometimes this stuff just gets dropped off, right? But the second piece I'll be giving away is this nice piece by Louis Bravo, who did this piece. It's a spin-off of Peter Pan, I think, but it's from Yuli's Vision from Fairy Metal Comics, one of their supporting characters. So I'll be giving these two items away in the giveaway. And we'll do that when we come back after this commercial break.
According to a statistic that I just made up, people spend 4 hours a day changing the television channel. People who watch The Experience don't do that. Save yourself a ton of time by tuning into The Experience and enjoying our new original programming 7 days a week. And then tell your friends. Think about the money they could save on batteries in the remote alone just by tuning into The Experience. Find out more by scanning the QR code below.
Sure, comic books are beautiful, but underneath, there's something more authentic and exciting. The original art. See the pencils, the lines, the shading, as if you were there in the studio watching the artist work. Getting a peek at comics' backstage is easy with the original art experience.
All right, Friday night, guys. Thank you for being here. To be doing anything, the fact that you're here means the world to me.
Nick's pieces are always value priced with your budget in mind, for the beginning collector to the veteran.
And this is gorgeous. You got Aquaman and Mira.
Join the original art experience with Nick and our friendly crew of regulars, even if it's just to enjoy the art. Fridays at 7. It's all part of the experience.
Welcome back. Thanks again for coming back. And Rob is going to be leaving us shortly. So glad to have you on board again.
Awesome.
And I'm pretty sure we'll have you back.
I appreciate it.
It's good seeing you, Rob.
You too.
It's been a long time.
Definitely. It's great chatting with everybody. I do have a hard stop. Just, the wife has to get up early, and she'll kill me if I'm out any later. It's 11:30 here on my time.
Yes.
So it's past our bedtime.
Well, thanks again. Appreciate you coming on board. We always love having you. We definitely had a great time. Tonight, and looking forward to the next time that we see you, whether it's at the con or here at the show.
Right on. Right. Hopefully sooner than later.
Right. And if you guys haven't yet backed Nightwolf,
please
check that out. Help Rob support that series. It's doing really well. And issue number 10 with some fantastic cover art this time around. Okay.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
All right. Stay, Rob.
Bye.
Well, with that done there, and so we currently have a bid on Bill Mouse at 40, and Kyle has a bid at 70 on his Red Sonja.
That's great.
Right, so if you want to place a bid, any more bids on that, you can do so in the comments, and we will get that out to you. Right. Let's see. Northern Knocker, cheap viewers on streamboo.com. Okay, I'm not really sure.
Way to read the spam comments, Mel.
I know why you reading spam. You love
I
spam?
didn't know. I was just looking
Love
at it.
it.
And go, huh?
You know, we didn't used to do this show, and we used to get the Russian spam bots that were like trying to sell you mail order brides and stuff. Or Mel would have been reading them, and we'd
Yeah,
have been
I
off
love
YouTube.
that.
We'd have been in so much trouble.
I know. I know. I
We see that somebody delete that thing. Yeah, even I was like kind of like getting.
I think Mel was getting excited.
Yeah, right. Let's not tell him that you were a mail order bride, right?
But you know what? I have a question for you guys as an artist, Bill and Kyle.
Yeah.
I was tabling at Seattle this month, and this girl was just walking by talking to her companion and saying, you know, I really think that the art is like when you see the art of the artist, it's a reflection of them. Do you kind of resonate with that?
Yeah,
I think so.
very much so. There's something is underneath. I mean, when you do enough commercial art, you're being told what to do. Maybe it doesn't apply so much in those cases. But if you find an artist who's really just doing their own thing, then chances are they're putting a lot of themselves into the work. So I think that would apply in a lot of different ways.
So if I see Kyle is doing this beautiful woman, like, are you beautiful inside? Is that your true reflection? And
I think it just speaks to the fact that I like looking at beautiful women. But yeah, let's go with what you said instead.
Yeah, let's go with what you said. Yeah, sure.
Are you? And also, Bill, when I see your work, it's very, it's like cute and sexy. Are you cute and sexy?
Well,
is that a reflection of you?
No. I mean, there's always a danger because I've been doing this type of art for a long time, right? And most of my characters are like these hot chicks and stuff. And there's always a danger of it coming across as, oh, this is just my very facade sexual fantasy.
Yeah.
Which who knows? And on a lot of different ways, it probably is. I'm not going to apologize for like the fantasies that a person has, but at the same time, what I think about, or I think the reason I draw these characters like this, and nobody ever mentions when I draw the hot male characters, with the abs that I wish I had. But I think I hold women in such. It comes across weird, right? Because I hold women in such high regard and in a place of power that's where my fantasies tend to go. My fantasy characters are typically women, and they're usually superhumanly powerful, and that might be because I have not to throw my mom under the bus, but it's like my mom and my family, they're all very strong-headed, very strong-willed Puerto Rican women who have raised me, and nobody, if anybody was following anybody, the guys were following them. They were the ones in charge. They were, the guys were out there working, and they're, doing their thing, and they respect each other and they love each other. But I always see the women as, I don't know. It's not and I don't want to make it sound like it's pandering. Like, it's hard to explain without making it sound pandering or without making it sound like it's an excuse for me to draw sexy naked women. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, but this is, I mean, I've not to put women on a pedestal, but a lot of and women, I see the woman's form as art. I see, there's so much about it that it's like, I'm trying my best to compliment
right.
a woman.
And that's something that we struggled through, not just at this time, but through the centuries. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a forever thing. I see a lot of, there's books that I've seen that always put women in a position of weakness in the book. They'll draw them sexy and they're always in distress and they're always being rescued, which, there's always a place for those kind of stories. That's fine.
Right.
But that's not where
distress. That was a common thing that people played on all the time. The women, they're not strong enough. So
but I think that comes from a place of men feel weak. So I want to draw a story where I'm strong.
Exactly.
And the woman is impressed by me, my powerful self, right?
And it goes again. They want to be you got the damsel in distress, and then they want to be the knight in shining armor.
Right,
the white
exactly.
Knight,
So there's so many different shades. There's so many different angles to that whole conversation,
I'm wondering also, like, even for, I think it's just natural human instinct. If you see something so beautiful, like, sakura blossoms, cherry blossoms, it's so beautiful and it's very fleeting, right?
Right.
So if you see something beautiful, which women usually are representative of that, I'm sorry, Kyle, but
no, I'm not disagreeing.
Oh, and Mel, I'm sorry, but girls I think are much better looking than men in general. And
I mean, guys are like
totally agree.
Guys are big square
no offense, man.
refrigerators,
No offense.
and women are art. It's like
So if you see something like that, right, and then they're in danger, it's like something so beautiful about to be taken away, and I think it just brings out something inside you where almost like a rage, like, hey, don't you do that, and then it could just be that.
You want to protect something that's precious to you.
Exactly.
There's
something
that.
beautiful, right?
But it depends. It's a case by case basis, right? Depending on the story you're reading. Some stories might only be presenting it that way because it's I just want to be the hero, and who cares about the woman? It's like they present their stories like that, where the only important thing to them is making sure they appear strong.
Like they're the prize or something.
Like they're the prize. They're the possession or the property.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
And so I don't tend to go that way. I don't find any satisfaction of doing a story like that, even though they have their place. I mean, there's going to be stories like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's something like in terms of style and influence, terms of like someone looking at your art and seeing the influence and then pairing that with perhaps something that interests them. Like when they can look at your work and be like, oh my God, like you totally watched, or you were reading this, or you were listening to that, and you're like, yeah, and like you're able to connect on that level. Like I see that when I look at certain artists, it's like, oh, clearly you were influenced by these things, or you're probably this old because this was hitting at like a formative time in your life. So like I think those things are revealing, in terms of what it reveals from an artist in terms of what they draw or how they draw or paint or sculpt or whatever the case may be.
Totally agree. Yeah, totally agree.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
I didn't feel like I was a cartoonist for years. I drew caricatures at SeaWorld for years, and I drew we were like the first company that started going into theme parks and doing caricatures. We kind of trained that new era. That was like 91, like back in 91, 92, right before I started doing comics. And I didn't really feel like a legit artist, or like I didn't feel any sense of respect for my art, even though the cartooning is fun. Don't get me wrong. I love cartooning. That's kind of like my base code. But I didn't feel any sense of accomplishment until I could draw a female character that looked really cool, to the point where people would actually agree that it looked cool, or that it looked, it's like, oh, that's, that's it was sort of a goal. It's a very difficult, just like drawing feet and hands are super difficult. If somebody compliments me on my feet, that's like the biggest, or compliments me on a hand pose or something like that. They notice those little details. That's just like, oh, dude, thanks. It's like, it's almost like you like brought sustenance to my house or something.
You know what? I think you're You're right. Because for me, I was thinking about that word, and she didn't mean it in any funny way. I think she meant it in what you said, Kyle. Something about the style or something is kind of like a reflection of that person's taste or even personality.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she was really trying to, I think, convey.
Oh yeah.
And I was just starting to think about that. That's really interesting because when I see somebody, like there's this artist I know, and he's very exact, and his art reflects that, right? Super detailed and super exact in some way. And in a way, his whole mannerism is kind of like that, whether he knows it himself or not. So maybe it's also a persona type of thing.
Oh, a lot of truth to that. Absolutely.
Have you ever guys felt when you see somebody's art, segueing from that, or dovetailing from that?
I was gonna wait to circle back, Mog. That was well done.
Our vocabulary list this evening will include the word dovetailing.
Dovetailing from that. Have you ever felt when you see somebody's art, even though it's beautifully drawn or whatever, you can tell this person is suffering right now, or it's right now he or she is mentally really disturbed.
Depending on the piece.
It's not even the piece.
It's hard to separate commercial art from like art that you would do on your own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I see like a painting or a piece by somebody, I mean, some of those emotions come through. I mean, if you you just sit there and take it in, you could see if they're suffering. You could see if they're happy.
Yeah.
You can see if they phoned it in. Just like when you watch a movie with an actor that you're really familiar with, you could tell when they phoned it in. They were just having fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or when they were really into it, like 3 shades into it,
Yeah. And you can feel it.
Yeah.
Just like a song, you can feel the kind of emotions that the singer may be putting into the song or trying to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And if it's something that's really heartfelt, it really comes through, and it's strong. Yeah. All right. Let's do the giveaways, the 2 giveaways. So if you haven't yet, you still have a little time to put in #EXP Nightwolf to get on these 2 giveaways. So the first one we're going to do that we're going to roll for is the fantasy piece. And that is going to go to drum roll.
I got you hooked up. I got the drummer ready.
That sounded more like a werewolf.
I know. Sorry. I was trying to stay on theme.
Chris. Nicole wins that. Don't forget to fill out the magic form in the comments if you do win anything tonight. So that way we know exactly where it will be going to. All right. So the next piece we're going to give away is this Louis Bravo 11 by 17 piece from Yuli's Vision. And on the back of it, it's kind of cool because you see his practice sketch on like how he was trying to do the piece and figure that out. So you get, if you're interested in how they get some of the concept ideas, this will be a good one for you. All right, so we'll go ahead and roll for this.
Oh my God!
Cool.
I won something.
Let's roll. Let's roll that again.
It doesn't count.
that wheel just got short circuited.
You've been robbed.
Ilya.
Winner.
Ilya hasn't won anything in a long time, so that's good to see. You got that coming to you, Ilya. All right. And you're going to want to pay attention next week. Next week, we will have Image/Aspen colorist Beth Sotelo is going to be coming back next week, and she'll be joined by Jason Strutz. We're going to check into his Kickstarter debut with Return. And a guy that we haven't seen in a while, Sean Lenihan, will also be joining us next week, right? So don't tune in again next week for another fantastic show. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit that follow button so that way we can continue to bring you wonderful shows that we have here all week for you. Like tomorrow, we have Jeff Johns joining the crew at Order Up to talk about Ghost Machine. You can check that out at 1 p.m. Eastern and 10 Pacific at the Order Up, the Final Cutoff show, right? And then the big tomorrow night, pay attention to the original art show with Nick Berucci, who will be putting out a few pieces that will go into support for Peter David, one of the fantastic writers that Marvel has had in their bullpen, who could really use our help. Right, so that's going to be on tomorrow night at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Right.
How much is he trying to collect again? 150K.
150,000. And last time I looked, he was at like about 95. Reading the comments on that GoFundMe, it's great to read. Some of it is just like really sad, but the man has done a lot for this industry. I've made my donation as well under your name, Mog, because it is your account. But I'm proud to have made that donation to Peter David.
If any of you guys like listening, even $1 will help.
$5, it's whatever you can get. Right.
This,
Peter is very thankful and humble. He's gotten like a lot of support, but he could use a little bit more to help him out.
So we can
because those long-term bills are not cheap.
No, it's not. Yeah.
All right, we got $75 on the Red Sonja from Mike Asbill.
Awesome.
Wow, just so we know what we're looking at here.
There you go.
Nice.
Mike also has the bid on the Savage Land Rogue at 50. That's still standing.
Awesome.
And
Thanks
we're
so much.
still looking for a bid of 150 on her Snowpaw. Okay. And so let's take a look at Bill's. Is it up right there? Savage Land Rogue. Right. So we are looking for the next bid on that as well.
I do a close-up
of 55 or better. Oh, he's got
saber tooth. See?
Saber tooth.
Yeah.
Bill's like, I draw monsters. I draw creatures too.
Remember, floss, kids.
You don't.
I almost did a rogue tonight too. So like, great minds think alike. Like I started sketching a rogue, and
dude, I kid you not, my daughter actually talked me out of doing the Red Sonja tonight.
Shut up! Are you serious?
It was between this and Red Sonja, and I was like, oh, this one. What do you think?
Like, but right now, Savage Land Rogue is hot. A lot of people are drawing Savage Land Rogue because that series that she has out is doing really well. It's got some good art. Yeah,
although had I pulled the trigger, she wouldn't have been Savage Land. She would have been more 90s, like Bomber Jacket.
Bomber Jacket is the way to go,
Bomber
right?
Jacket,
yeah.
You know, Kyle, I forgot to ask you. I'm sorry to interrupt, but what was your influences for as in your line art?
In terms of line quality, like a lot of it was influenced being an inker at Image in the mid 90s. So
yeah.
But I have a heavier hand by, I guess, my natural mark making is more influenced from like the mid to late 80s. So especially like the Panda Brothers. So like the artists that like imprinted on me when I was really into comics from the beginning, it was like John Buscema, and he was like my Marvel guy,
right there.
And it was Kevin Maguire from DC who was doing Justice League,
yeah.
And it was the Panda Brothers working for Comico doing Grendel. So like those were like my big three, my holy trinity of artists when I was 12 or 13. So I'm like a combination of, I feel like I'm a combination of those. Like my figurative work is Buscema, like how I try to draw faces and expressions is Maguire, and then my line art and panel layouts and things like that is more from the Panda Brothers.
Yeah, going with a heavier line weight.
Yeah, like I really like that 80s aesthetic, that like the fashion design kind of style. So like all of that imprinted on me as at a young age. So when I was inking at Extreme Studios, I was always fighting that because that wasn't the house style. So trying to stay true to what they wanted taught me a lot, in terms of line quality, but I still want to drop a heavy line. I want a tapered line, thick and thin. I want there's a certain aesthetic that I want to also have. So I'm constantly like trying to balance those, like the training that I got as an inker plus what imprinted on me, when I was 12 and 13, reading comics and drawing on my own. So
interesting.
That's awesome that you were inking all those books back then. That's inking for Image back then was like, that's a bucket list item to jump into that. I mean, 93 was when I jumped into comics altogether and having Image throw up, pop everything out at the same time. So knowing that you were inking a lot of stuff over at Extreme and stuff, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was
And
fun.
you were following up on Danny Miki, and he was hot during that time too.
Yeah, he's phenomenal inker. He's a great artist, period. But like what he could do with a nib so effortlessly.
Right. Yeah, he had great control.
And what those pages look like before he touched them, like they were night and day. Like the pencilers would always come by and be like, hook it up, Danny. And he'd be like, all right, like there's nothing here and I'm gonna make it really good. Like I'm gonna put stuff that you didn't even think to consider putting in here. He was great.
Yeah, that was truly an art. He wasn't, because the inkers get nicknamed as they're just copiers.
Right.
But you can't say that with Danny.
Blasphemy. You're not tracers.
Right.
Tracers,
Yeah, the inker actually controls the entire look of the book. I mean, it's like nobody has more control over the finished product than the inker. It's like that's finding a good inker is amazing.
So I'm going to chime in again. I've got some interesting in my the art collection I've started since we started doing this channel. Really, I've got some Ramita pages that are inked by Klaus Janson and inked by Scott Hanna. Okay. And I've had John Jr. send me his scans, right, of the pencils and compare them to the inks, and they look so much different because those guys understand what John wants.
Yeah.
Like, even if he can't do it himself, they can do it for him to get what he meant to do.
Right.
And it's a really interesting thing, especially like looking at John Jr. working on Batman, which was so out of what you would think for John Jr. Mm-hmm. Like the man can't seem to get a cape right. But once Scott Hanna gets it, it's perfect.
Right. And Klaus Janson is a heavy inker. He likes a lot of thick lines and stuff.
But I've got some Danny Miki pages where I don't know if he inked them, if he penciled, what his role was. I just know I bought them from his dealer, and the line art is so fine. I've had the piece hanging on my wall for 2 years, and I still go over and find line work that I've missed before.
Yeah, see, the thing with Danny that a lot of people didn't know, especially in the 90s, right? He actually had 2 guys under him that were mentoring under him, and sometimes those guys would Danny would take the page and work it and do the best he can, and these other guys would like come in and do some of the little minor touch up just so that way they could, he could get to other pages that needed, because he was such in a high demand. Everybody was asking him to ink during that time in the 90s, right? And he was trying to do it, and there was a lot of no's that he was giving out as well. But the guy was just doing some incredible work during that time. And let's see, we got 8:54. We got about a minute to go. Right,
I think somebody was asking to see Red Sonja.
Oh, yeah, the Red Sonja. Let's go around the room and take a look at everybody's artwork again. Red Sonja is currently at $90 with Ilya. if I have that correct.
Say that all right?
So we are looking for the next bid. If you want to come in and clean up, put in 100 for Kyle. This is his first time here.
So put in 100. Put in 102.
And then there's Bill Mouse.
Yep.
Are you done? Wow.
Yep, I'm done with this piece.
Oh, it's nice.
That currently has a bid of
thanks, guys.
$50 from Mike Ansbill, if I
See?
have that right.
That's a reflection of you. You are a determined, clear-headed mind guy.
We just got 100 on Red Sonja from Mike Ansbill.
God bless you, Mog.
You know where it's going to look. You go for the goal, and you focus, and you just do your job. You know, that's like a reflection of you.
You know, I had a cool. There was a cool question from Steve Vendetta on the chat about because he spotted my tattoo on my wrist. So I was like, this is actually like a family tattoo. My daughter and her mom all have this tattoo, and it basically all boils down to I raised her on basically PlayStation. So so power button. We played so many video games together. Granted, she's 27 now, but there was a time when she was tiny and influential.
Yeah, you missed those days. I missed those days.
Yeah, she was travel size. She was tiny.
Yeah, we carried him everywhere. And that's how I was with my son too. Wherever I went, you know, I didn't leave my home. I took him with me all the time. You know.
So just to let you guys know, all the proceeds from tonight's sale is basically dad budget that goes to her. So hook a bill up, guys.
Hook a bill up.
I gotta buy I gotta buy this girl pizza and stuff.
And we went to thank you, Ilya. Ilya's placed a 110 bid on the Red Sonja there. So thank you very much for that. And we are out of time. So I want to thank everybody for coming on board. It was nice to see Rob. And of course, it's always a pleasure to have Bill here.
Thanks.
And
dude.
Kyle, definitely would like to have you back. And I'll be sending you an invite soon. Okay. And of course, you know, don't forget to catch us next week with Beth Sotelo, Sean Lenahan, and Jason Strutz, right? And if you're at WonderCon, we'll be roaming around, mainly doing panels. But if you can catch us and say hi, that would be great. So you guys have a wonderful night. And we'll see you guys soon at the con or here on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Pacific. Thank you all for coming. Good night.
Good night.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.